hot tempered. Like, I didn't know she was gonna act like that over 500 pesos.
Don't wait on it tonight, I wanna get nasty. Don't wait on it tonight, I wanna get nasty.
You've seen this type of video. Your girl is back again with another story time. If you're to my channel, hey girl, hey. And if you're a returning subscriber, I don't even gotta say nothing because you know what's up, I know what's up, we know what's up, and that's on way. That's on way. That's on period. Mary had a little lamb. As y'all see by the title, today I'm giving y'all a story time about the time I almost went to jail. And y'all, I don't even think this was a story time because this happened like 2 years ago. And y'all know who Irene is. I think her channel is Irene Beauties. I was talking to her on the phone and I was telling her about the situation. And she was just like, Asia, this is definitely a story time. And I don't be trying to force story time, so I ain't think this was one. But she said it was a story time, so that's what y'all getting, a story time. So if y'all see Irene, shout out to her because that's literally the only reason why y'all getting this video. I already know in order for any of my story times to make sense, I have to give y'all a little backstory. So this happened in 2021 and this happened a while ago, y'all. So I got my little notes here. So if y'all see me looking down, that's because I put some notes here to kind of like keep me on track. So this happened in 2021 and around this time I was going to Mexico like it was Miami. I know y'all remember the memes on Twitter when people was like Mexico has became the new Miami, because at this time it literally did. Like Mexico was the only country that was allowing people to go in and out the country without a COVID test, without any reason. Like you could just go for a holiday and it wasn't a big deal. So this was that time, y'all. I was going to Mexico like it was Miami, and it basically was just without the hood niggas. Without the hood niggas and the scammers, Mexico was the new Miami. So around this time, it was honestly, y'all, it was just a random weekend. I had found a cheap flight to go to Mexico and I found a cheap hotel. And we get to the hotel, y'all gonna be like, Asia, just be for real. Just Asia, be for real. Because I honestly, y'all, I literally just pulled up the listing on Airbnb and I honestly can't believe that I even booked this. I don't know what I was thinking. And the crazy thing is, it's 2 years later, y'all, and this hotel is still on Airbnb. So if you're trying to go to Mexico for the Lolo, I'm gonna link the Airbnb down below for you. But y'all, I found a cheap Airbnb for literally, it was like 27 or like $30 a night, y'all. It was like the cheapest Airbnb and it was actually nice, y'all. It had like hella reviews on there. People said nothing but nice things about this Airbnb. And I think I probably found a flight from Florida to go to I was about to say Miami, to go to Mexico for like $50. And I hit my girl up and I'm just like, hey, do you want to go to Mexico? And she was I think she lived in South Florida at that time, and she found a cheap flight, y'all, and we was on our way. So I booked everything. She sent me her half of the money. I think like a week before our trip, she was just like, hey, my homegirl also want to go to Mexico with us. Are you cool with that? And y'all, I'm not one of those people that's just like, who's a friend? Do I know? Like, that's not me. Like, if a person want to go on a trip with me, I'm really not too picky. I should be picky now because y'all seen what happened in previous story times. But at this time, I wasn't really picky. I was just like, yeah, like she can come or whatever. I didn't care what the girl name was. I didn't care if she was blue, purple, black. Like, I didn't care if she was a human, y'all. I just said she can go. So we're going to go ahead and give the friend a name. We're going to go ahead and call my friend that I invited on the trip. We're going to call her, let's call her Pineapple. And then we're going to call the other friend, let's call her friend, the mutual friend, we're going to call her Nene. Mind you, I had never met Nene before. And if I called somebody Nene in a previous story time, this is not the same person, y'all. This is a completely new name. So boom, fast forward to the trip. We pull up, we are in Mexico. I met them there, y'all, because I was flying out of Orlando, I believe, and they were flying. Was I in Orlando at this time? Yeah, y'all. I was in Orlando at this time. So I flew out of Orlando and I believe they flew out of Fort Lauderdale or Miami airport. So boom, we meet up there. When we get there, everything is looking nice with the Airbnb. The sheets are white, the walls white, like everything is looking like the pictures. The location is right. They had security. Check-in was smooth, like everything is looking nice, y'all. So I don't know what we did that first night. I don't remember, but we check into the hotel, we go out and we just enjoy Mexico. Fast forward to later on that night, we in the hotel room, y'all. And all of a sudden, like, we all up in the bed, just like, I don't know, y'all, we was just chatting. I think we had left Fat Tuesdays and we was just like, you know how you go out and your head be spinning and you just can't go to sleep because your head's spinning. So we was doing one of those, like our head was spinning and we was just up all night, just in the hotel room, just chatting. All of a sudden, Pineapple sees this little black thing coming out the corner, and she's like, Asia, like, what is that? It's moving. And I'm just like, girl, like, you tripping, it's the liquor, like your head's spinning and you like you're delusional, you think you seeing things. So she's like, no, Asia, like, what is that? And I'm just like, what is it? So the other friend, damn, what did I name her? Nene gets up and she's like, it's a roach. So we see a roach in the hotel room. So after that, immediately we just like, all right, it's time just to pack it up, because I don't do roaches, y'all. My friends don't do roaches, and it wasn't like, I don't think they had an infestation problem. Like, it wasn't like we seen hella roaches. We literally seen one big cockroach. But I don't know, y'all. We just couldn't go to sleep after that. Our skin was crawling. And there's actually a vacation vlog for this part of the trip. I didn't put the part in there where I don't want to give too much away, but I didn't put the part in there where I was about to go to jail in the vlog, of course. But this part with the roach, all of this is in the vlog. So I'll link the vlog down below for y'all nosy people that like the backstory. So yeah, so that happens or whatever. We up all night. We looking for hotels because it's just like, we can't stay here. Like, my skin crawling. Like, if her hair laying on me, I'm thinking it's the roach. Like, I just can't sleep. So we up all night. We looking for a hotel. We end up finding a hotel. I think we stayed at the Westin. And I know y'all thinking like, Asia, you couldn't really think you was getting a nice hotel room for $100 for 3 days. But y'all, I really did. Like, I was delusional at this time. I was just like, oh, $27 a night. Yeah, I could do that. Like, that's literally crackhead prices, y'all. But I didn't think anything of it at the time. I literally was just like, I want to get out of the country just for the weekend, and I booked it, and I was just ready to go. So like I said, that situation happened. Like, our skin is crawling. We can't sleep. They act like they never seen a roach before. I done seen roaches before, y'all, but it was just, you know, it was only $100. We wasn't losing no money. So we end up canceling the hotel that night. We contact the host. We tell the host, like, hey, we don't want to stay here no more. Is there any way we can get our money back or whatever? So the host is giving us a hard time about getting our money back. But like I said, y'all, it was literally, each of us spent $30 for the 3 days. So it really wasn't a big deal. So we found another hotel. We ended up staying at the Westin. So we stayed there that night. I don't even think we slept. I think we did an all-nighter, y'all, because the hotel room, it wasn't dirty. I can put pictures in here, and I can link the Airbnb down below so y'all can, oh yeah, if I'm saying hotel, y'all, I meant Airbnb. But I can link the Airbnb down below. But just look at the pictures, y'all will get what I'm saying. So we check out of there. The next morning we check into the Westin hotel. We end up staying up all night. And I do want to mention, y'all, this was my first time in Cancun. I had been to Mexico. At this point, I had been to Mexico, I want to say this is my 3rd time. And before, I stayed in Tulum, and I stayed in, I believe, Playa del Carmen. I had never stayed in the Cancun area. So this was going to be like a party trip. I literally just wanted to, you know, go for the weekend, just get out the country for the weekend, have fun with the girls, and just come back. This was just going to be like a little quick turn up type of trip. So boom, I didn't mention this before, but let me go ahead and mention this now so y'all can understand the discrepancy that we had with the taxi drivers in Mexico. So basically, usually when I go out of town and I'm with my friends, we take turns when it comes to transportation. My turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. Or if it's in the US, we'll just like split the Uber. Y'all know you can go into the Uber app and you can just split the cost. But at this time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I wasn't aware that Mexico had Uber. So we wasn't using Uber. We were using the local taxis, and we had pesos. We had each, I think we had brought like $500 or $600 just for the weekend to be in Mexico, y'all. And we converted everything over to pesos. And we had a bunch of big bills, and it was like just too much to be like, let's split this, let's do this. So what we decided to do is just take turns with the rides. So it'll be like my turn, your turn, Pineapple, your turn, my turn. Then it's Nene turn, and like that's kind of how we was doing the rides. So at this point, I do want to say, when it came to my turn to pay for a taxi, y'all, my taxis were so expensive. Like, for example, say if we went to the club one night and I paid maybe 500 pesos to go there, and then on the way back they'll be probably paying like 100 or 200 pesos. But it just depends on the time of the day. It doesn't really go off the amount of meters they drive. Honestly, these taxi drivers in Mexico, they would literally just make up prices. Like, you have to negotiate your prices. So anytime I had an Uber, anytime I had a taxi, I always noticed that my taxis were higher than my friends. But like I said, that's the way the cookie crumbled. Like, we just decided to just go my turn, your turn. We didn't decide to split it evenly. So, you know, that's what it is. So I just, I chucked it up. Keep this in mind, y'all. When I say the entire vacation, this was literally happening the entire vacation. Every time we went out, my taxi would be probably 2 to 3 times the price of Nene and Pineapple's taxi. But like I said, I never tripped. So boom, fast forward one night, because every night we're going to the hotel zone. If y'all don't know what the hotel zone is, it's basically just where they have like all the clubs, the bars, all the party life, like their nightlife in Cancun is in the hotel zone. So we go into the hotel zone every night. I remember this particular night, we're in the hotel zone, and I think we were like at Fat Tuesdays, and I remember seeing this guy. He was on the side of the road, and he was like trying to sell us an excursion. Y'all know, y'all see those people with little pamphlets on the side of the road, and they're trying to like sell you, you know, ATV or a zip line or like some type of day trip. And I had already, mind you, this was my original trip, so I had already booked one of the excursions that they wanted to do. They didn't book it in advance. I had already booked it in advance online through, I think I booked it through like TripAdvisor or whatever. So they were trying to go through with the guy or whatever. So Nene and Pineapple, I remember I'm sitting at Fat Tuesdays, and I don't know what I was doing, y'all. Maybe I was smoking a hookah. I don't know if I was drinking, but I just remember they were like on the corner and they were talking to this guy, and he's just like, Asia, how much did you pay for your excursion? And I'm just like, oh, I paid like $120. I don't remember what excursion this was, y'all. I think it was like a day trip to like, one of the cenotes, which was like an hour or 2 hour away. So I told them that I paid like 120. So they talking on the corner with the guy thinking they getting a deal. They just like, oh, well, he said he can sell it to us for $70, so he can give us a deal. And I'm just like, well, I would prefer you just go on TripAdvisor and go ahead and book it through them, because you just never know. Like, you don't know him. He could have just picked that pamphlet up and he could have just told y'all he was giving you a deal. He could just be pocketing your money. But she's just like, oh no, he works with the company. He has the business shirt on, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like kind of lit at the same time, y'all. I just remember being on my ass just laughing, because I'm thinking like, I'm trying to tell you that you're going to get scammed, but you're not listening. So I'm telling my friend, I'm like, Nene, Pineapple, I honestly wouldn't do it. I would just rather y'all book through TripAdvisor. But they trying to save money. So they're just like, no, why would we go through TripAdvisor when you paid $40 more than us, when he's telling us if we pay now, we can get it for this price. So basically, they go ahead and give their little pesos up. I'm sitting across from them just shaking my head like, I'm trying to tell y'all this ain't what y'all want to do. But like I said, y'all, they grown, they do whatever they want to do. They go ahead and pay, I think it was like 70 or like $40, y'all. They paid a guy and they put their name on a list, and he's just like, what hotel y'all staying at? They tell him that we're staying at the Westin. And mind you, the excursion that we were doing was going to be the next morning. So the people were going to pick us up. It included transportation, it included water, drinks, and it also included lunch. And it was like a day trip that was like an hour to 2 hours away to one of the cenotes. I don't remember where it was at in Mexico, y'all, but I just know it was a little ride from where our hotel was at. So fast forward, they buy the tickets or whatever. He put their name on the list. They give him the cash, and you know, we just enjoying our night. We having fun. We going to the clubs, and we're literally just enjoying our night. We probably got back home to the hotel probably like 2-3 a.m. And fast forward to that next morning, our excursion was at 8 a.m. Like I said, it did include transportation. And we up bright and ready. We get up, I go down to the van or whatever, and it's a group of people already in the van. I tell him my name. He's like, all right, check, Asia, you on the list. I go sit down, I get in the van, and then it's time for Nene and Pineapple to see if they on the list. And the guy's just like, okay, y'all on the list, but y'all owe $100. So they're just like, how we owe $100? And he's just like, it says here that y'all only did a partial payment. So they arguing back and forth with the man saying, no, I paid my money. I paid my money. I paid my money. I took a picture of him and everything. I can show you my receipt. I can show you my receipt. So the guy, he's not trying to listen to them. He's talking to them. He's basically going off on them, and he's just like, he's basically going off on them saying like, he don't care, they not getting in the van, they have to pay the remaining balance, so they not getting in the van. Mind you, I'm already sitting in the van because I didn't know any of this was going to happen. He had already checked me off. I had sat down in the van. We're going back and forth with the guy. I'm saying no. I watched him. He said he worked with the company. We're giving him the name. She also had the guy's number because he was like, if y'all have any problems tomorrow, just give me a call. Just acting like everything was going to be all biscuit and gravy. So she calls him, and he's just like, no, you have to finish paying the remaining. So she's like, what happened to the money I gave you? You need to give me back my money. He hangs up on her, y'all, and she keeps continuing to call him. The man is not answering the phone. So he basically done flaked on her, and we going back and forth with the guy. The guy gets fed up, and he pushes Nene and my friend, he pushes Pineapple and Nene, he pushes him out the way. He tries to shut the van. Obviously, I'm not going nowhere without my friend. So I'm like, whoa, 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 where are you going? Like what we doing? So he's just like, I'm about to leave them. I'm about to leave them. You're making us late for the tour. And while all of this is going on, y'all, mind you, there's a group of people in the van waiting to go on this excursion, and they seeing all of this go down. So these people are mad and they aggravated with us because we look like we holding it up, but really the people that work from the company is just like, they just fraudulent. So they're going back and forth, and eventually my friend is like, she's not going nowhere, she's not gonna let you close the van door. So the people from the hotel come out. He's trying to translate because he's not even speaking full English, y'all. He's saying a few words in English, but he's mostly speaking Spanish, and we don't know Spanish. So we cussing him out in English and he's cussing us out in Espanol. So we going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The people from the hotel come out, they kind of translate, and then eventually the guy just says F it, and he lets them on the van. So that happens or whatever. Keep that in mind. All of this is going on. All of this is kind of going wrong on the trip, but at the same time, y'all, I was low-key just happy to be out the country. I don't know what I was going through in my life at this time, but I was just really desperate just to be on vacation. Like, I just didn't want to be in the country. So that happens. We go to the cenote. I do ATV, we do zip line, and we do everything we need to do at the spot. Fast forward, we get dropped back off to the hotel. Like I said, we go back to the hotel zone. But this time when we go back to the hotel zone, it wasn't, yeah, it was my turn. It was my turn to pay, y'all. So it was my turn to pay to go there. And I do want y'all to keep in mind that you can negotiate your rate. So if they tell you that it's gonna be 1,000 pesos in order for you to get a ride from point A to point B, you can negotiate and be like, let's do 750, and they can say, all right, let's settle on 800. Like, you can negotiate all your rides. But sometimes some of the taxi drivers are real stern with their prices or whatever. And like I said, I had been to Mexico 3 times before, but I didn't really know what you were supposed to charge. Like, I didn't know the average price of a ride to the hotel zone from our hotel. So I was paying basically, I just noticed that I was paying more than them. But this time I got us to the hotel zone. The guy, he drops us off. And like I said, we have a good time. We out all night. We partying. We living it up. We in Mexico. Y'all, we just having a good time. We drinking. We had a section. We went to Coco Bongo. I think it's called Coco Bongo. Yeah, we went to Coco Bongo that night. So we are lit. We having a good time. It's like 2-3 a.m. in the morning. It's time for us to go home. Mind you, I was the person that paid for the taxi to get us there. The taxi was like $350 to get there. Not dollars, y'all. 350 pesos to get there. And it was Nene's turn to go after me because it was me, Nene, then Pineapple. Me, Nene, and Pineapple. That was the rotation, how we was doing who paid for the next taxi. So it's time to go. It's like 2-3 a.m. and we're on the side of the road, and I can like put clips in here because I think I got clips on my Snapchat. People were like lit. Like, I remember this guy, he was like literally passed out in the middle of the road. It was just so much going on at this time. And like I said, we're lit. So we're like waving the people, we're waving the taxi drivers down on the side of the road, y'all. We're like waving them down. A taxi finally pulls up to us, and she's negotiating her prices. She's talking to all the taxi drivers, and she's, negotiating her prices. I'm not really listening to what she's doing or whatever. I just know anytime a taxi person comes, she'll be like, no, he charging too much, and he'll leave. She'll be like, no, he charging too much, and we'll leave. And she kept saying, no, we were charging too much. And I do want y'all to know that my friend Pineapple, she was ready to go home. Like, she was bent over. I don't know what happened to her that night, but she was kind of over it. She didn't even want to be out there anymore, but Nene wanted to still party and be out there. But because we all came together and we on vacation together, when one person leaves and one person wants to go, then we all leave. And that's my friend, so that's how we was rocking. So she's a little annoyed. She's on the curb. She's not saying anything, and I'm just on the curb, and I'm just like dancing to like the nearby music at the clubs. And Nene, she's trying to get us to taxi. She's calling taxis. She probably shoot away probably like 5 taxis, y'all, because I guess the price wasn't to her liking. Finally, we get into a taxi. She agrees on the price. I do not know what the price of this taxi was, y'all. I don't remember what he told her the price was, the initial price was. So we get in the we get in the taxi, and he drives us all the way to our hotel. And right before we get to our hotel, I want to say it's like we're probably literally like a half a mile from our hotel, and he starts talking to Nene, he just like, it'll be 500 pesos. And she's going back and forth with him. And he was just like, well, you told me it was going to be 300 pesos. So how are you saying now it's going to be 500 pesos? And we only paid 350 pesos to get there in the first place. So they going back and forth. At this point, Pineapple is in the back of the Uber and she's kind of like just slumped, and I'm hearing everything that's going on and I'm tired, but she keeps going back and forth with the Uber driver. She's going back and forth, they're going back and forth, they're going back and forth, y'all. So he's just like, no, it's gonna be 500 pesos. You need to pay me 500 pesos. So she's trying to negotiate with him while he's in the Uber, while we in the taxi, y'all. But mind you, while they arguing, he's barely driving. Like, a total was going fast in the car. Like, he was barely driving. Like, he started to slow down all the way. I believe he probably was going like he probably was really honestly going like 3 miles per hour. Like, he's barely moving the car. So he's going back and forth looking at her, and he's just like, no, you need to pay me 500. You need to pay me 500. And she's like, no, I thought we agreed on 300. We agreed on 300. And they're going back and forth. Finally, she's just like, all right, just let me out the car. Let me out the car. So she hops out the car. Mind you, I'm in the middle. I'm right here. Nene's right here and Pineapple is right here. I'm in the middle. So she hops out the car and she's like, no, I'm not paying you. I'm only giving you this. And she throws the 300 pesos on the seat. I see this, I'm just like, whoa, you doing a lot. But like I said, this is the mutual friend. I had never met this girl before this vacation, so I didn't know that she was hot tempered. Like, I didn't know she was gonna act like that over 500 pesos. So I'm looking at Pineapple. Mind you, Pineapple, my friend, she's already over it because she been wanting to go home. So I'm looking at her and I'm just like, is this really fucking happening right now? And then Nene, she pops out of the taxi and she starts walking towards the driver. The taxi driver, he hops out the car and the door is still open. He clicks the thing up on the door, basically put the child lock on the door, and then he shuts the door, and then he walks back over to my side of the door. And I don't peep this. I know this now because, you know, I was stuck in the damn Uber, but I don't peep this at the time, y'all. I just see him come over and he shuts the door back because she leaves the door open after she entered. Then Pineapple, she opens the door and she's getting out the car. And then as I'm trying to get out behind her, y'all, he sees me scooting to the thing. The taxi driver slams the door on me while I'm trying to get out the thing. So I'm just like, all right, bitch, there's another door. So I go to the other door to try to open it, and y'all, the door is locked. So he's just like, no, you guys aren't going anywhere. You ain't going anywhere. I'm calling the police. So now he's on the phone or whatever. He makes a quick phone call, and I know now that he wasn't talking to the police. He was talking to another one of the taxi drivers. So he calls somebody up or whatever, and he gets off the phone really quick. It probably was like 5 seconds that passed by, y'all. Another taxi driver pulls up to the scene or whatever, and he pulls up like basically in front of the taxi, which it was weird because we weren't gonna just hop in the driver's seat and pull off, but he kind of blocks his friend off, the other taxi driver off. So he's talking or whatever, and he's like, they're not trying to pay. So Pineapple is pissed off. So she's like, your money's right there. She's like, no, I'm going to the police. I'm like, sir, I don't have anything to do with this. One thing for sure, I'm not going to jail for nobody, and I'm definitely not going to jail behind $500. Like, not $500. I ain't going to jail behind $500 either, but 500 pesos, y'all. So I'm just like, oh, no. I'll go ahead and pay him. I'll pay him because this is entirely too much. So he's just like, no, you need to pay. We need to pay. So I'm yelling from inside the taxi, and I'm just like, the money is on the seat. I'm going to give you the rest of the pesos. But he's so busy trying to argue with my friend. Mind you, they're already out the car, and they start yanking on the door. My friend was concerned. She's like, you need to open the door. He's like, no, I'm going to the police. He hops, the other friend leaves and said that he's going to go get the police. And there was all types of police around where my hotel was at, y'all. My hotel had security, so I thought he was just going to get the security, but he said he was going to get the police. So he pulls off, the other friend pulls off, the taxi driver gets back to the taxi, and then he pulls off, and then I'm talking to him. He's basically telling me that he's driving me to the police station or whatever, and I'm talking to him, trying to calm him down, telling him like, no, I'm going to give you the money. Like I said, he also couldn't speak English that well, y'all, but I kept telling him like, I'm gonna give you the money. So I took whatever pesos I had. I honestly don't even remember if I even paid him the correct amount, y'all, because I was so frantic, because I thought like, bitch, you about to go to jail in Mexico behind behind 500 pesos. So I go ahead and give him whatever money I had in my little purse. And he tells me to get out, and I get out, and I'm at this point I'm closer to the hotel than my friends are. So I go to the hotel because I'm pissed off. Like, bitches, I'm about to go to jail over 500 pesos. So I go inside the hotel. They come back inside the hotel, and y'all, it was a lie. So that's pretty much the story time on how I almost went to jail in Mexico. And honestly, y'all, I don't really think I was gonna go to jail. I honestly think, well, at that time I thought I was going to jail, but knowing what I know now, I think he was just trying to scare me, because I've heard so many horror stories of people going to Mexico and them getting arrested and taken to the police station, and the police station is so corrupt there, and they're begging them for like thousands of dollars to let them go home, because they're trying to scare them to think that they're actually going to jail, but they're not going to jail. So I feel like that's what he was trying to do. He was just trying to get money out of me, because the $300 that my friend had already, $300, y'all, if I say dollars, I mean pesos. The 300 pesos that Nay had already gave him, it was on the seat, and I ended up giving him the 500 pesos. Like, he kind of tried to act like that money wasn't even there. I don't know if he was teed off, and I didn't even realize that. Like, the next day I woke up and I was just like, oh shit, like, she left the $300 there, and I paid him $500 pesos. So he probably was just trying to just get extra money, or y'all, I don't know. But at that time I honestly felt like I was gonna go to jail, and I'm not going to jail for nobody. So yeah, that's pretty much the story time on how I almost went to jail in Mexico. And the next day was Sunday. We left that next day, so it was nothing really left to do. We came to Mexico. We did what we need to do. I'm gonna link the Airbnb down there for the girls that's very frugal and they trying to go out the country on a budget. But yeah, that's pretty much the story time on how I almost went to jail in Mexico. And y'all, I don't regret it. I don't. I was scared, but I really don't regret it, y'all, because we had a time. I really had a good time in Mexico. Now I don't care to go to Mexico. The only part of Mexico I will go to is Cabo. I haven't been to Cabo yet. That's honestly the only part of Mexico I will go to. But other than that, y'all, good night. I'm about to go to bed, and I'll see y'all at my next story time. Peace.